Welcome to Scorched Earth. This is going to be a general reading for the sign of Leo, Sun, Moon and Ascendant for the last 2 weeks of January. It may or may not follow on. Hello, Queen of Wands there. It may or may not follow on from the general monthly video. It might be an entirely different story. Use your own discernment. Work out if it applies to you. Work out if it follows on. It's all down to how you perceive this. Take what resonates and leave the rest. So, when I was meditating on your energy before I started the reading, I use these coins. I love them. Right? It's the Leo one there, and I sit with them in my hands while I'm meditating. And the energy that I was getting off that was really interesting. It was like a boiling pot with the lid on. And it sort of clatters with all that bubbling water underneath and the steam trying to escape. It's sitting on the top and it's simmering right there. It feels very close to blowing the lid off. So that was quite interesting. I really liked that. So, let's see where you're at, Leo. I have 3 cards for Leo, please. First one is the Ace of Swords. Interesting. It's air energy. So Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. King of Swords. And there. More air energy. It's really interesting. Sagittarius got like a very airy, very swordy reading as well. This feels more positive than theirs. Theirs was very, very restricted. This is much more positive. Ooh, hello. 10 of Pentacles. Yeah, on the bottom of the deck, we've got the Fool. This is the start of a new cycle. Lordy, all of my cards are falling off the table really, really slowly. Hello. You're at the start of a new cycle, and I think that you're very aware of that. I've got quite a few Leo friends, and there's a very, very much a sense with all of them that we've tied up a lot of loose ends, and we're starting new, we're starting fresh, and walking very firmly into our power. And more than that, really starting to perceive the level of power that we have, because I think that we got quite smashed up by the eclipses that happened from 2017 onwards, and there's been a process of pulling down and rebuilding, and we've rebuilt, and it's very strong. There's a real strong sense of that for me right now. So I'm not surprised at all to see the Fool at the bottom of the deck. It's taking a leap of faith off into the unknown. This is uncharted territory that you're heading off into now, and I feel great excitement. Is that simmering pot, the lid on the simmering pot. Great excitement about where you're going. Card directly underneath that is the High Priestess. Maybe you're a tarot reader, maybe you're spiritually inclined, something like that, but there's a sense of the rising power that's come through. Love it. Absolutely love it. First card that you've got for your current energy is the Ace of Swords. Now, this is a very mental card. It's all up here, but it's because it's swords, it's words, it's communications, it's truth, it's integrity, it's all of those things. And I feel like you're very strongly standing in that at the moment. You see things very clearly now in a way that perhaps you struggled with over the last year or 2 years, something like you know exactly who you are, you know exactly what you're about, and you know exactly what your truth is. And you're standing in it really, really firmly. More than that, you are now able to express that truth to other people in a way that they can understand, in a way that leaves no room for doubt whatsoever. And see this king, and he's looking pretty stern, and sometimes the King of Swords gets a bit of a bad rap for being, cold, but he's not. He can just put emotions to one side so that he can use his reason and his logic and his intellect to make, really well thought out, reasonable decisions for the betterment of everyone. These 2 cards together are absolutely beautiful. Love them. Yeah? Because that sword that he's holding right there is this Ace of Swords. Yeah? Not only are you aware of this, but you are now communicating this out to other people. Right? And you're taking no shit anymore. Because I feel like Leos have historically taken a lot of shit. not about that life anymore. We're not there. You might not know where you're going, but you know exactly what you're taking with you to go. And there's, it's air as well. So it's very liberated. There's real, air and fire together, really, really good combination. And it could be that this is a person, actually, who's in your environment right now. It'd be Aquarius, strictly, but it could be Libra or Gemini. But I don't feel like it is a person. I feel like it is you. I think it's your energy. And the final card we've got is the Ten of Pentacles. So I think that you're very focused on your work at the moment. Maybe equally focused on your work and your home life, I think, because this is a snapshot in time for me, this card. It talks about material success, but it's kind of that point, that instantaneous point where legacy and heritage collide. You're working really, really hard to take care of you and yours, but also to just, generate all the resources that you need. And it doesn't have to be money. It can be emotional resources. This is somebody who can look after themselves, right? They don't need someone to come in and look after them. They've got it all sorted all by themselves. Oh, couldn't be prouder of you, Leo. It's amazing. Look, the Queen of Wands has just flipped again. Like, we are popping with our power at the moment. And I don't know about you, but I'm loving it. So, what's coming towards Leo in the last 2 weeks of January? What does Leo need to be aware of? More swords. Hello. What's coming towards Leo in the last 2 weeks? What's coming towards Leo, please? I'm going to show you that because it's flipped. It's the King of Wands now, right? So that's the King and the Queen that's tried to come out. Take that as it resonates to you. It might be another... There's cards fucking flying off the table again. It might be another Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, or it might just be you embodying both the masculine and feminine attributes of your suit now. Completion. Oh, I like that, because that's just made sense for what's on the table as well. Okay. One more card for what's coming towards Leo, please. Thank you. We've got the Three of Swords, but it's come out in reverse. Love it. At the bottom of the deck, we've got the Nine of Cups, wish fulfillment. I always think that she looks like she's, taking a break out of her wedding or something to go sit in the woods, which is totally something I would do, I would think. Anyway, what's coming towards you are these three cards here. Will you stop it, please? Honestly. Very rude. We've got the Queen of Swords, we've got the Moon, and we've got the Three of Swords, but it's in reverse, right? And that's important. The Queen of Wands is the feminine aspect of the Swords suit, just as the King of Swords. Did I say Wands? I meant Swords anyway. We've got a pair on the table. Currently, this is your energy. What's coming towards you is this. Now, if we look at this energetically, and I suspect for most people it is energetic, this is a balancing of the masculine and the feminine, just as the King and Queen of Wands is a balancing of the masculine and the feminine, right? Embodying both. You may have found that part of what you needed to rebuild was you sitting in one side or another too much, right? I've sat in my masculine power far too much over my life. I've had to rediscover the feminine attributes, and that's things like being receptive to things, allowing people in, allowing people to help you, all that kind of thing. Like, I absolutely was not about that life for a very long time, but it was fear driven rather than out of a sense of proper independence and properly being able to do things for myself. So if we're talking energetically, from a mental point, you are now embodying both. But it could be a person. And if it's a person, it could be a Libra, Aquarius, or Gemini person who's coming in towards you. And if it is, they've probably got some stuff they want to say. Same. Because the sword suit is all about communication. And this queen, she can be a little bit harsh, right? I always feel like the king is a little softer in his approach. So the queen's a little bit harsh. There's no shit here, right? Like, she's kind of like a lower echo of justice for me. So there's no binary positions. There is only binary positions. There are no grey areas with anything, right? If something is right or wrong, it's just or unjust, right? And that's what this is. Now, take it as it resonates to you. Could go either way, energetic or person. But then we've got the moon, right? And the moon is about things that are hidden. And sometimes people say there can be secrets and stuff like that. But for me, it's the subconscious, right? It's the things that bubble beneath. Because the moon is all about the intuition, right? It's your inner world. It's your secret world. It's what you don't necessarily bring out to other people. And water is about your emotions and all that kind of thing. So you can look at it in some ways as it being like the route by which you receive guidance from your higher self, right? It's the dream world. Maybe your dreams are being a bit off the charts at the moment, and I can absolutely resonate with that, because mine are downloads coming every single night, and I'm only remembering probably 10% of what I'm seeing, which is absolutely devastating, but I'm working on it. But the point is, the stuff going on underneath that maybe is starting to come to the surface in the last couple of weeks of January, and maybe this queen is bringing them about, or maybe this queen is just your ability to be able to understand, perceive and express these things that are going on underneath. And then we've got this, right? Let's come out this way up. The Three of Swords talks about heartbreak, right? And it's usually a very visceral scene. There's a heart in the middle and there's three swords spearing it, and they're razor sharp, and you just feel the pain. If you've ever had your heart broken and you're a Leo, I absolutely imagine that you have at some point, because we love so much, and almost to a point where other people cannot keep up with that level of love, and eventually you get heartbroken. But this is slightly different. The swords are in the ground, right? And this girl's sort of sitting in amongst them, and there's a kind of aged quality to this. Like, this is old heartbreak right here, and I feel like this is something that you sat with for quite a long time, right? But it's come out reversed. You are no longer sitting in this energy. Towards the end of January, you are really pulling yourself out of here. Like gravity's going to do its job, and these swords are just going to fall away. And this girl, she's just going to get up and walk off. Maybe you'll get an opportunity to express to someone, really clearly how it was, that they broke your heart, because you're not about that anymore. Like, you're not interested, you don't want it. You're not defining your inner world by this any longer. You've got exciting things to do, and you're ready to do it. You want to achieve, your wish fulfillment. Directly under that, we've got the Three of Cups. We're celebrating under the light of the moon. There's a real witchy vibe to that I really like. It's real celebration. And underneath that, we've got the Ace of Pentacles. This is a solid new start in a different direction. I love it. It's wonderful. Oh, so proud of my Leos. So proud of myself. What can I say? Could I have 3 cards of advice, please, for Leo for the last 2 weeks? Oh, there's the first one. And the second one. And one more, please. Oh, Page of Pentacles. Right, at the bottom of the deck now, we've got 5 of Wands, right? That's a Leo card right there. But he talks about conflict, talks about fighting. And I think that you need to expect some, because it's not the only 5 on the board. The other 5 is the first card that came out. It's the 5 of Swords, but it's come out in reverse, right? That way around, it's pretty awful. 5s are about conflict and change, things shifting around you, And how you deal with that is how you get to the 6. Right? And the 6s are always about movement for me. But it's come out in reverse. This way up, it's sniping, it's verbal sparring, it's unpleasant, actually. And this person here will say anything to win, right? She's got hold of 3 swords, and these 2 characters in the back, they've put the swords down and they fucked off, because we assume what they will lose by continuing to engage in this situation will cost them more than they will inevitably win in the end, even if they are successful. And there's a sense here that they not only might not be successful, but actually they don't care either way if they were. But coming out in reverse, it's a sense of you extricating yourself from any of these situations. Just not even getting to the point where you engage at all is the thing. Because it feels like someone's bringing some conflict to your door, and maybe it's this Queen of Swords here, maybe it's somebody embodying this Queen of Swords energy, but they're bringing it to you. So expect that it's coming, because it is, but don't engage with it. Don't engage with it at all. Block it. Just block it. There's nothing for you to be gained by engaging in this. And we've got the Eight of Pentacles. Get your head down. Keep working on what it is that you're doing, because to get to here, you've got to put in some hard work first. Master your craft. Whatever it is that you're doing, keep doing it. Keep your head down. Keep yourself distracted and get on with it. And the final card that you've got is the Page of Pentacles. Right? This is another card of new starts, but this one talks about resources. It talks about understanding the value of what it is that you're doing. Understanding the value of what it is that you're doing, working really, really hard to build more pentacles, right? Because this is where your focus needs to be at the moment. Whatever else is going on around you doesn't require your attention. This does. You've got something important to do, and you need to not be distracted from the path that you're on. Right. I watched a really interesting video this morning by the woke therapist. I absolutely adore her. I've been watching her videos for years. And she was talking about manifesting, and how when you're getting really, really close to manifesting what it is that you're actually really after, what you get is what you don't want first. Because you have to create a void for what you do want to come in. Right? So you have to reject what you don't want to make the space for the things that you do want to come in. And I get a real sense of that being relevant right here. Right? Absolutely. Like, whatever conflict's being brought to your door, don't engage, because it's gonna distract you. It's gonna take you off your path, and your path is here for now. However that applies to you, because it doesn't have to be money. Like I said, it can be new opportunities. It can be emotional resources. It can be all sorts of things, but you need to focus on that and not be swayed from what you're doing. So I'm going to leave it there, Leo. A delight as ever to read for you. If it resonated in any way, I'd love it if you'd like the video, or leave me a comment or something like that. And if you haven't subscribed, I would be super appreciative if you did. But other than that, I will see you in about a fortnight-ish for the February monthly videos. Okay, take care.